Hi, welcome back to the Downtown Den. I'm Frank McKenna, the Group Chair and Chief Executive of Downtown in Business, and I'm delighted to be joined by our partners, Sutcliffe. Want to introduce yourself, guys?
Yeah, thanks, Frank. My name's Sean Keys. I'm the proud Chief Exec of Sutcliffe Civil and Structural Engineers and Building Surveyors.
Hi, Frank. Martin Pocock, Director at Sutcliffe.
And I'm here talking about Sutcliffe in their, respectively, 40 years in Liverpool, Sean, and 25 years in Manchester. So, pretty big year for you.
No, absolutely. There's one other big year in there as well, which I'll tell you in a second. So, 40 years since the business was started by John Sutcliffe. And then some time after that, we went over to Manchester. Been in Manchester now 25 years. And the one that sits in the middle of that, this is also my 35th year in the business.
Wow.
So there's going to be a party.
I should think so. Plenty to celebrate. And Martin, in terms of how the business is performing at the moment, because we're all conscious of the fact the economy not going as gangbusters as certainly the government would want. But every time I sort of see news around the construction industry, building regeneration, Sutcliffe isn't very far away from those stories.
No, I think presence of Sutcliffe in the general scope of engineering and construction in all sectors, because we do cover all sectors. So we very much like to have a voice where we can. And as you know, the economy isn't quite as buoyant as it used to, but I think we're keeping our head above water. We keep on going. So it does give us an opportunity to ensure quality is going out correct and ensuring the staff are well trained and well managed as well. So it's a good opportunity to do that.
Give me an example of some of the breadth of work you're involved in at the moment, Sean.
So we're working on hospitals, schools and housing. Housing is probably the biggest part of what we do. Closest to where we are at the moment, we're on a further phase of the tobacco warehouse, which is the largest brick building in the world. Today, we got an inquiry for a new prison in Scotland, alterations to a new prison, and we've decided that we're going to put the whole downtown team in there. It might not be big enough. So we're doing quite a lot of Ministry of Justice work, and then housing schemes right across the country, predominantly northwest of England, but right across the whole breadth of the country.
What do you make of the government's intention to build 1.5 million homes? It's a hugely ambitious target, and I just wondered, from a professional perspective, have we got the wherewithal to deliver that within a 5-year period?
I think what the government have done, they've aimed high. I think this was driven by election promises. By everybody said we were going to build 1.5 million. It's sadly not very realistic to hit that number, but we're aiming high. What we need to do is make sure that we get close to it. So the numbers that I think we're building is early 200,000s. So it means that to hit 1.5 million in a term of government, we need to be 200, 250, 300, 350, in the final year, 400,000 homes, which is close to doubling. We haven't quite got the capacity in the industry to do that. So in professional services or plasterers, bricklayers, so the whole range of remit. But if we get to close to 300,000 homes, then that will have a huge impact on the social infrastructure of the country. And for a very selfish perspective, from a Sutcliffe perspective, that will be really good for our business.
But good for business and the economy generally. And Martin, you and I were talking off camera about apprenticeships, and I know how committed Sutcliffe have been for many years now in terms of getting young people into the business, growing your own talent. Sean's a great example of that. But some of the things that have happened recently in terms of the tax changes, minimum wage, they're putting pressure on medium-sized businesses such as yourselves, aren't they? And that can't really help.
No, I'm a big advocate of apprenticeships. I left school at 16, I went through the whole system. So, I'm fully supportive of that. In Sutcliffe, we are fully supportive of that. But if your hands are tied, you hand you back, you have to deal with what you got. But the cost of bringing in an apprenticeship, the cost has gone up, the minimum wage has gone up. Obviously, we look after our staff, even if they're with us for 12 months or 18 months as a university or apprenticeship. But there's a cost to do that. It's the cost in time as well, and it's giving that time to ensure that these apprentices have got the good quality of training as well. So that does affect the business, so we just have to be careful because we are a business first. but we want to look after the future generation coming through. So there is very much a fine balance on that. I think we do have a problem with the national insurance contributions as well, and obviously you're looking at high 20s to get somebody in who's barely qualified but barely experienced, and then they're having to basically pick up the ropes and learn how to feed it. So, yeah.
And they're competing with people who are experienced now.
Absolutely.
At the salary point that you're talking about, you will be able to go and get somebody who's ready to go.
Yeah, I think what we have is with the younger generation, it's the expectations that they're expecting. They're expecting to walk into a well-structured, well-renowned company such as Sutcliffe's, and they're expecting to be on a good wage from day one. But obviously, it's sort of managing that expectation, I think, really. So, but that's what we do. We give them clear guidance. We do offer, and have done several times now, given careers advice from kids that've come into our offices with their parents, and we've given them some really good career advice, have it from an engineering or anywhere in the building sector, really. So we're not just here to help Sutcliffe as a business, we are, but we're also about growing the whole construction industry, really. And if we can help somebody get on to be a surveyor, architect, or an M&E consultant or a structural engineer, we'll do our damnedest.
And a genuine commitment to the wider communities that you work in, Sean. And obviously, we're all looking forward to the charity ball, which has now become part of the business corporate calendar. Raise huge amounts for charity. Just tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
Yeah, so we live in this country. We're part of the what goes on. We see the good work that we do as rebuilding hospitals, and we see the work that they do, and they need our not just our financial support but our emotional support. So this year we've decided to help the Royal Liverpool charity, the Women's Charity, and the Clatterbridge charities. The charities that we're involved in as a business, so we work in the NHS, we work in the hospitals, but we see the value that they bring. The NHS has had a bashing for quite a few years by different governments. Currently we're finding that many of the hospitals are too small. So that when we go into the hospitals and we present them with a cheque, as we have done, for £50,000 or £25,000, or fingers crossed if everybody's super generous, £75,000, the emotion is unbelievable. You do see tears in people's eyes of really tough people thinking, wow, we've raised £75,000 for the charities, and let's not forget the hospitals that we've all used. So those three charities, we've had family members who may be treated in the Clatterbridge, or children who've been brought into the world in the Women's, or the Royal is a project that we actually work very, very closely on. So it's almost like we've got no choice but to support our charities, but the team massively love it, and that comes out in the event. You can see in the event and all the supporters that we get. So we massively enjoy that night, and it's almost, to quote, I know Bill's not with us today, but Bill would say it's a no-brainer. So it's a no-brainer to help our hospitals, help our charities, and the date for that, Martin?
29th of April.
29th of April. So
at the Titanic.
At the Titanic.
Any tickets left?
No.
It's all
Actually, we have got a subtle problem actually at the moment. We've got requests for tables, and even requests from people in our office who found new girlfriends. You never invited the girlfriends. Going to bring the girlfriend. So it's massively popular.
Yeah, it's a great night out. It's for a great cause, and obviously there is always a lump in our throat when we're seeing the videos on that. And it does come close to home. But somebody asked me last year, explain the entertainment on that. So I just imagine the Blue Brothers film and Bill and Sean on there with a bowler hat. And as soon as I said that, everyone sort of got it from there. So Bill and Sean do a really good job on that night, bring everyone together. But it's a great night out for the staff as well. Yeah, and we're having 62, 63 staff as well. And we get most of them there, so it's a great night out. So.
Yeah. One of the things I feel personally proud about it is that we're with all of our business friends and business associates, which includes Downtown, they're very good friends of ours. We're raising this year hopefully £75,000. We employ about 60-ish staff. That's over £1,000 a head. That's some achievement. So if all businesses, to larger businesses, did exactly the same, the world would be a much greater place.
It is a great night, and if you can't get yourself a ticket, try and get yourself an invite. That would be my advice. We'll be there in force, the downtown mob. Let's go back to business then, and we're literally weeks away now from MIPIM, which is the Property Festival in Cannes, of course, and again, Sutcliffe veterans of MIPIM. And there's two things I'd observe from watching you guys operate over there. Yeah, of course, you're there on behalf of the business, the company, Sutcliffe, but you also do a massive amount of work in terms of being ambassadorial for both Liverpool and Manchester, actually. Just tell me, how you approach that week and what you're particularly looking forward to this year.
So what makes that week good is the people from this country that go. The vast majority of our work is within the UK, probably 99.9% of it is in the UK, and probably 70% of our work is what we would consider North West, North Wales, so that northern sector. But we will be happily fishing further afield. So we have a duty to support our regions that we work in and the regions we live in. We understand the needs of the North West. And in many respects, because we're private businesses and we're both business owners, we can put a really honest, true perspective on where the economy's at, what the region needs. And we also then can support and encourage other property people, other developers who are looking to invest in the region, what's good in the region and what we can help bring to the party. So we understand the region, we'll sell the region, happily sell the region. This is a really simple question. If the economy of the northwest of England grows by 10%, our business will grow by 10%, possibly more. So it's an absolute win-win. So people who go to MIPIM really shouldn't necessarily be thinking selfishly about what's in it for them. If they think about what's good for their region, they will automatically benefit.
Yeah, grow the pie.
Grow the pie, and grow the pie.
People will benefit from it. And that collaboration as well is something that I know Sutcliffe buy into. So we've met through you guys, funnily enough. Our networks grow because of Sutcliffe. It's supposed to be the other way around, really. But hopefully it does work for you as well. Is that an important part of the culture of your business, do you think, that sort of partnership, collaboration work that you do?
Yeah, absolutely, because when we're all going on the journey together, obviously if you go as a team of all different stakeholders, you can all arrive at the same point with the support, and we can't all do it by ourselves. So you do need that network and charging towards the line just to get over it. And we are waving the flag for the Liverpool as a city, but obviously at the Northwest as a region. And it's not just looking after engineering, it's looking at the whole construction and the whole industry and that investment. Because we get that investment back into the region, back into the city. The city then grows from that, and then if the city grows from that, everyone benefits from that. So we're a very small cog of that, but when the cogs are all lined up and turning together, the benefits of that outweigh the cost of going out there to do it, because you'll get that tenfold back.
Don't mention costs. Don't mention
We won't let your accountant see this. You're okay. Your FD, you'll be okay. And you very kindly said, Sean, at a recent event that we did in Liverpool, actually looking ahead to MIPIM, that the best event you attended last year was downtown. So that was good to hear.
Yeah, it's quite easy when you don't have to lie, isn't it? So if you're telling the truth, it just rolls off the tongue. So it was genuine. So I used some of that lunch as an opportunity for us to learn and to educate ourselves. So what an opportunity to speak to the people who make Manchester work, or the political leadership in Liverpool that make Liverpool work, or Birmingham. I think we got somebody from Newcastle as well. So getting a perspective of what their views and what they want for their regions. But then equally, it's good for them to actually see, well, this is what other regions are doing. And because of the calibre of speakers that we get there and the calibre of the room, it makes it incredibly competitive. Again, almost as competitive as tickets for the Sutcliffe Ball. Almost, but not quite.
Not quite there yet.
But we found last year the room was just full. Yeah. So we use that particular event as a chance to listen and hear what's being said in the regions.
Yeah.
last year was my first time at MIPIM, so very much went in there eyes wide open. But the one thing I really learnt from that is following up the new contacts that you've made. So being able to follow them up and discontinuation, and with the likes of social media, LinkedIn, and the Sutcliffe name out there, it has reaped its rewards as well. So it just opened other doors as well. So it's brilliant.
I think if there's one lesson that companies, not just from your sector but elsewhere, can learn from Sutcliffe, is the way in which you do get yourselves out and about. The name recognition is immediate now, and I think that's due to the hard work that's gone in over a period of years now. But it's certainly paid dividends. I just wonder, Sean, because you are ubiquitous, you are like, turn up to the outer of an envelope, it seems. You're always out and about, you're always shaking hands, pressing the flesh, promoting not just, as I say, your company, but the cities you work in as well. You still enjoying it?
Yeah, I've made a New Year's resolution in January not to go out as much.
How's that going?
And it's not. It's not. And then you're going to like this. On the day we come back from MIPIM, I've been invited out that night and I've said yes. The only downside, we're really incredibly lucky. On the whole, 99% of the people we work for are fabulous. They could be your friends. They're fabulous people. You have a good crack with them. Only thing, it can be sometimes a little bit tiring. So if you notice, Frank, I really drink too much. So that's the tactic that I've learned, is to go out there, chat to all the friends, make them your friends. But yes, it can be tough sometimes. But
drink plenty of water. Yeah.
It's essential. Engineers tend to like working numbers out, working out big beams, or how much rainfall falls off a site, or how tall a building could be. But we have to talk to people to promote the business and to tell people what we do, and to promote the region. I think sometimes what a lot of people in our sector do, they focus very much on the detail of actually the job. But if somebody doesn't tell you, oh, by the way, we do that. Oh, did you? Didn't realise. So it does regularly pay dividends.
I think we're obviously quite good with going out and networking, but I think we're also good at bringing on the next generation of people as well. So exposing the next generation to the network events, introducing to people to that continuity plan that's going forward, ensuring that everyone knows about Sutcliffe as we are now, but where Sutcliffe is going to be in the next 10 to 15 years as well. So and that's the plan really. So yeah, it's. You got to be careful you don't burn a candle at both ends. And coming straight back from MIPIM, I think Bill he showed me a picture on the way to MIPIM one year. Everyone was happy as Larry. On the plane back, everybody was asleep. So MIPIM does take a lot out of you. So you just it's that focus really to get out there.
But I think one thing we all agree. One of my key goals to business success is you work hard.
Yeah.
So there's nobody who's been successful in business who said, it didn't work that hard. Everybody works hard, and the ones who get to the mountain the fastest are the ones who work hardest.
Yeah, so there is a great saying, I can't remember who said it, but it's
something,
funny, the harder I work, the luckier I got.
I think a few people, Nick Faldo might have said it once as well, about luckier and training and stuff, but it's absolutely true. So working hard, getting stuck in.
Yeah, and getting that Sutcliffe brand out there.
Yeah. It's surprising. I'll tell you a little story. I've got to miss some detail out. But I was dealing with a Spanish company, and we wrote a little article a couple of weeks ago in the Telegraph about how long it takes infrastructure projects to get to site. And I thought the only person who read that was my mum. But this Spanish company, it was their project, and they'd read it. And of course, I was instantly elevated to the heights of the heavens, because they thought, wow, this guy knows all about everything that's going on. But if I hadn't took the call to write the article, and the article hadn't gone in the press, then when you're meeting the client for the first time, he doesn't instantly elevate your position.
Yeah, it all makes sense, doesn't it? It's all part of the ecosystem. And the final point I'm going to make here, in a sense, is that, when we say we're going to Cannes or to MIPIM, there's always eyebrows raised by my missus. Not sure whether yours is the same, but it is hard work. But I think the point you made, Martin, in terms of you can meet literally hundreds of people whilst you're there, And I'd say two things to people as a piece of advice, really. First of all, you're not going to be able to follow them all up. It's physically impossible. Yeah. But equally, it's crucially important that you follow up the people that you do believe are going to be good for your business.
Yeah. So, and those embryonic stages are met at MIPIM, aren't they? So if you do follow them up, you're absolutely right, Frank. If you bump into 300 people, which is quite easily done over the 4 days that you're there, even if you walk away with 20 good contacts from that, I think we've done quite well on our basis. But that investments that you're doing of time, of talking to people, then following up when you get back, it could take 2 or 3 years to get a return on that. But those contacts are there for a long time. And I think there's a mutual respect when we go out there across all industry types and stakeholders. Everyone's waving their flag for their cities and their regions as well. So hopefully, from a UK point of view, everyone's waving a flag for Team UK, as they call it. So.
And those longer term relationships, that's what matters. And Sean, I think you said you've been going out there since 2008?
2008 was the first time with another one of your, I'm not sure if he's client, Dougal Paver was one of the first brands. Really, really good guy. We bonded with Dougal. Then we had a quiet period after 2008. There's another cycle of the country. But yes, I think that a couple of years ago, one of my stories is to follow with Martin. I met a project manager in a bar at 2 o'clock in the morning. And somebody I hadn't seen for a while. I vaguely knew him, but we had a few drinks, really bonded, talked football, politics and everything. And I said, oh, by the way, who's helping you out in the hospital that you're working on? He said, oh, we're having problems with our engineer. I won't say who it is, but having problems. Oh, well, I'll come and talk to you when I come back. I said, all right, no problem. We came back and we got a new built hospital from it. So it does matter. Yeah. It really, really matters.
The best relationship's always in a bar. And always when you're talking about football.
Yeah, well, fellas like talking about football.
It's also better when the drink is free as well, so you don't have to worry about who's paying for the beer.
Yeah, and it can actually be, it even can span across rivalries of cities and clubs, of course, can't it?
Absolutely.
So it just makes you've got this instant bond. But yes, so I think I can actually see that we've made relationships while we've been out there that we've brought back, and as Martin said, it might take a little bit of time for you to actually say I got a job out of it, but you're not necessarily doing it for that. I would be lying if I said I don't enjoy it. So do stuff you enjoy. One of my mum's advice for me when I was younger: do a job you enjoy and you'll excel. So if you're going out there, and I know you'll take exactly the same view, we're going to enjoy ourselves, aren't we? Of course. We're going to go out there, enjoy ourselves, have a little crack, have a little bit of fun. But then obviously there'll be a very, very serious side to it that we want to make sure that it works for the region, works for the business. And we've got a couple of strategic projects that the first time we met people was in the south of France. Strange place to meet somebody for a hospital in the northwest of England, but it happens. And that's brought its way through to projects in the region. And then this is a bit more difficult for me to actually confirm, but I know we've promoted the region. So knowing what that's brought into the region is a bit more difficult.
Yeah, but as you said earlier, it's about making that cake bigger.
100%. 100%.
And the benefit will come to the companies eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one of them I was just going to add there. So sometimes we're not a selfish business. So even though there may be a very big project in a region that we've missed out on, and we could be a bit upset about that, but if that project comes to the region or to the northwest of England, what happens every time Liverpool build Everton, or if Old Trafford happens, we will absolutely get some work from that, because what will happen is then the areas around that will be regenerated. So if businesses, SME businesses and other businesses in the region take a view, actually, if we can grow the pie, we will benefit from the pie, even if the first slice of the pie isn't our slice.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It's a great point. Well, listen, chaps, it's been great to have you in the downtown then.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you at MIPIM, if not before, and of course the charity ball, which, as I say, is always a great occasion. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you,
the city region, and indeed for the northwest. And we'll see you again very soon.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Well done. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. That's Sutcliffe Engineering, a downtown partner in the downtown den. Come back and see us again soon.